I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. This is a special called meeting of the Board of Trustees. The board does reserve the right to call this meeting into a short recess if deemed necessary. Also, we'll reserve the right to go into closed session tonight under the government section codes that are listed, 551.071, 074, 072. At this time, we'll start off with agenda item number 2, and that is to conduct a budget hearing to adopt the 2019-2020 budget. I'll turn it over to Becky.
Okay, thank you. Your packets here. We'll start with the letter there. Did y'all have time to read it? Take a couple minutes to read it if you want to. Basically, it's listing some priorities that we were looking at, and then we're referencing House Bill 3 and with the 86th legislature, some of the changes that are happening. Of that, the tax compression is going to be a big part of it. We're not adopting the tax rate tonight, of course. We'll do that after we get the certified values, and we'll come back with that. But that's what the legislature has compressed it to. Instead of $1.04, it'll be 97 cents now, our M&O taxes. So that's a change, and the INS tax rate will be at 44 cents because that includes our debt payment for the bond we just passed. So as we put this together, we're part of House Bill 3 is mandating teacher salary increases. So we've adjusted on that scale and done some work there. So overall, it's going to be the $10,901,392 and broken out by the funds. Operating fund at $9,349,666. The food service fund at $482,662, and debt service at $1,069,064. We are also rolling forward the capital projects fund because that we passed last year. So we're going to complete that as the architects get the drawings complete and bid that out for work. So that's how we start. That first page, that next page there just shows you the 3 major funds: the general fund, the cafeteria food service fund, and the debt service fund. When you see that it is balanced, the amounts we just mentioned, estimated revenues and appropriations, the same for each fund, totaling $10,901,392. Okay, so here we go. This is the meat of this is what we're actually breaking it out at the function level. We adopted the function level and the different types of revenue, whether it be local, which will be your property taxes, and the state funding, your foundation money, and some federal revenues as well. So you'll notice we have the 3 different funds here. The general fund is in your first column. Your second column is your child nutrition fund, and then your debt service fund. So we've got the revenues. The big one is the state foundation at $6,335,827. So total revenues at $9,349,666, and that the property taxes we're estimating to be $2,181,000. Your child nutrition is basically the local money is the lunch tickets that we sell, and it's mostly all federal money because it's the federal program, the lunch program in USDA. So then let's move out. That's our revenue, and then we'll move down to the function level, the different funds. Of course, function 11, instruction, is our biggest function in the general fund, $5,257,905. And all the other fund, the next highest one will be your function 51, your plant maintenance and operations. That's where we do all the repair and operations. In the child nutrition fund, it's function 35. That's only in the child nutrition fund, so that's the $482,662. And then the debt service fund, that's only in function 71 for our debt. So you'll notice we have all the functions in the general fund, but just the separate functions there in those funds. But it's a balanced budget, the same revenues and expenditures in each one of these funds. Do y'all have any questions as we go about what we're doing in that? Salaries, everything is in function 11. That's all your teacher salaries as well. That's one of the biggest cost expense that any district will have. is your teacher
I have one
salary.
question before we go too far. On the JJAEP,
Mhm.
is that what we had allowed last year? Is it pretty close to the same?
Really?
Last year was $8,500. They did go up on their rate to 10,000 from last year to this year.
So is this the first year they completed the full year with them? No, since the change.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So it's staying where they said it was?
It is.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
The security monitoring, is that for our resource officer? Is that what that is?
Well, it's all the, when we pay, like, even the officers that come and work the gates and things like that.
Security.
Any security, anything comes in that function. But yes, whatever we contract with the city or work, whoever we work with, that, in the past, we split that in instruction, the salary, half was that, and half was, the SRO, out of function 52, and the other would have been out of function 11. But, this year probably, if we still continued that, I guess it'll be the same way, other than we're contracting, so.
The difference between this past year and this coming year is that based off of student need and desire, we were doing 3 sections of criminal investigations. So we were able to nearly split it 50-50 between safety and security and career and technology. But this year we will have a single section based off, now that we're offering other programs such as the EMT certification, student interest is sort of going in other directions as well. So all it is shifting a little bit more to safety and security and a little less towards career and tech, because we have to be able to justify it based off the number of periods of instruction. So that's where you see that shift to the safety and security side.
Any other questions this time?
Okay, so that's pretty much it in a nutshell. The next page is just showing you our capital outlay, that there is no real revenue there because of the revenue we realized in last year, and so it will be rolling over from designated fund balance for that. The remaining pages are just information just to have, showing our ADA, how we ended the year, and the tax rate history just over the years, and our analysis page where we show you the revenue and expenditure and the difference, whether we increase or decrease in fund balance. There is a typo that 2018-19 should read 2017-18, because this year hasn't been audited yet. We're waiting for the auditor to, and then I'll add that year in there. And that just a little description there on what fund balance is. So basically, the bulk of the whole thing is that one page with all the different function levels and totals.
One question, you say salaries and stuff, that's just what the raise that we had given them before, not?
Well, we've been estimating,
More.
no, we have estimated in the last week or so how much we think, and I've taken those dollar amounts and increased in function 11, in the areas. So, but we probably will have to come back and do a budget amendment when we know a little bit more, but this is increased to allow for, I think the gain on that, we were figuring about 850,000, and the first template that came out, and now we're somewhere up around $1 million. So I believe we'll come back to y'all with a budget amendment to increase as we know, as it finalizes what we think our true revenue gain will be, because we are required to do 30% of the gain in salary. So as the gain goes up, the percentage we have to pay goes up. But we think we have a pretty good handle on it right now. In fact, we're hoping to have a little more than we're required to do, just for that very reason.
So we're gonna be over the
The
minimum,
requirement.
the
Over
minimum requirement.
By 3%.
Okay.
Yes.
And,
But we're gonna bring y'all that in July, because we're still working that out.
and what drove a lot of it too is TEA finally did publish their minimum teacher pay scale, the new one versus the old one. And what we did find is the teacher pay scale we originally had presented, years 0 through 9 actually exceeded the minimum, but years 9 and beyond were missing a little bit. Like we were a little shy here. It was within hundreds of dollars per step, so we did have to go expect that adjustment because by law we have to meet that minimum. So steps 9 and above are at that minimum. up to 20, and then of course the state scale ends at 20, but we had chosen to continue with a $200 raise so that teachers don't max out at year 20. So I know it's a small amount, but it's not required. So really that's what drove our numbers here for teacher pay, is we were legally required to move those that didn't meet the new minimum scale by TEA.
So we're still kind of tweaking on it, but I think I have enough in here to handle that, all of that, what we're gonna be proposing. But I think that it looks like there's gonna be even additional revenue on top of that we will bring to amend and increase the state money.
And will they mandate what we need to use that revenue for?
Not all of it, but some of it, they're like the comp ed money and different things like that. There's now dyslexia that we didn't used to have. There's some changes, but it's not like that. All that money will be tied up in, you know, we were planning for a bus lease and some more HVAC replacements and things like that. It's what we weren't able to put in before that now we're gonna go back and try to put in and have.
And then also
for
servers
flexibility.
for infrastructure.
Oh yeah, we're thinking maybe the network is needing some updates that we've been sort of putting off, so we're hoping to put some money there too. But, so it's still shaking out. TEA is supposed to have a template out to estimate your revenue on July 1st, so it's not out yet, but I feel pretty confident in Omar's template, the one I've used forever. And he's the one, Omar Garcia, that puts one out, and we use that, most districts do.
I know Omar.
Okay, right, so he's been in it forever. So I had, for the equity centers, I used their template, the Omar's template, the budget board runs. I've looked at that, but it's with a higher ADA at the 770, so I'm using Omar's mostly right now, and I'll run TEAs when they get that out. Right now, it's a little early for them to be, you know, they're changing everything and implementing it right now, so they're still working out some of the implications with some of the changes.
And we've been doing weekly webinars with Region 20 Education Service Center as well, and that's pretty much is just updates on, hey, where are we now with the implications of House Bill 3, and even they are saying at every level it's going to be up to 6 months before all the dust settles around all the implications with it. Even Omar's template, I mean, we're on the second or third version of the template even since the legislature had passed House Bill 3. So Becky, you've done a great job literally keeping up with those templates, and I mean, she's been amazing at giving updated numbers as we go and try to stay ahead of the ball. Where a lot of districts have just decided we're going to continue as we are, and then we'll do some form of settlement later. Well, the difficulty is that, you know, this is a great opportunity to actually increase some of our pay scales that we've always been a little lower than we had wanted, and so this is a great upfront way to use House Bill 3 to help get our budget to where it is. But
And I do fully expect to bring a budget amendment, at least one, you know, we have several during the year, but this one we're anticipating maybe even more than we thought. We started with a little bit on the conservative side because we really weren't sure, and as the other ones came out, said it's looking like there's going to be more, so that's a good thing. But we've even, what we're going to bring you guys in July, we'll have all new pay scales for the at-will staff as well. But yes, I think this should let us do some things we've been needing to do and cover the salaries that we're going to propose.
Any other questions?
with that being said, I do recommend that we adopt the 2019-2020 budget as presented.
All right, we have a recommendation by the superintendent. I will entertain a motion. Motion made by Terry Dugan to go with the recommendation as presented.
A second.
Second by Brian. All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is agenda item number 3, and that's the depository contract for funds of independent school district under the Texas Education Code, Chapter 45, Subchapter G, School District Depositories.
So I do know that years ago, our district did move forward towards, prior to me even getting here, we did a district of innovation, and in that plan, it did account for us, due to our rural nature and with depositories, you're able to extend X number of years. However, we happen to be at that year where that X number has expired or is up to expire, so we have to actually legally have an agreement on file. This will sort of reset for our District of Innovation to continue those waivers through the extensions that are to be filed every year. So this is just our new agreement. We're planning to stay with our local bank, no changes there at all. So it's just a formality of getting an updated agreement or depository contract on file with TBA.
What is it, a max of 6 years, is that right?
Correct.
Same for mine.
Gotcha.
We don't have to bid it any longer, but we have to have a contract.
Yeah.
Right.
Any questions or comments?
If there's not any questions, my recommendation is that we approve the depository contract as presented.
All right, we have a recommendation by the superintendent. I'll entertain a motion. Motion made by Terry Wolf, second by Mooring. All those in favor? Motion passed unanimously. Next item on the agenda is agenda item number 4, and that's the 2018-19 final budget amendment.
We put it on there in case we were gonna need one, as I was still working through things. And right now it looks like we're good, so we just can table it, we don't need to.
Okay. All right, we don't have a budget amendment needed, so we'll go on to agenda item number 5. And we don't need to go into any closed session.
No, there'd be a special call for budget hearing.
Okay. We don't have to go into closed session at this time. So we'll move on to agenda item number 7, which is the closed session agenda item. So we'll go to agenda item number 8. That's adjournment. Motion made by Terry Wolf, second by Brian. All those in favor? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you all very much.
Thank y'all so much.
Short and quick.